Hey, Scruffy. Whoa. You come on time? Yeah. Days are getting shorter. Still got a little sunlight. I have to start feeding you a little earlier. But not there yet. So we're in that awkward time of year where the sun starts setting sooner, but it's still too hot. But today was actually pretty nice. I think it's going to be hotter tomorrow, though. Okay. Oh, where are you going? Just doing what I normally do, Scruffy. Okay, I'm gonna sit in the chair now. Where are you going? Acting weird tonight. So yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on his grooming, trying to figure out if he needs a flea pill or not. He's been attacking right under his, yeah, right there. So yeah, I think we'll have to give him a flea pill soon. Not tonight though. I already prepared the food. So I'm trying to figure out if he's grooming or if he's has a flea. So I think it's a flea. Yeah, the fur there looks kind of short. So let's see. So the past few days I've been talking about the new used bike I bought. And so yesterday I talked about my first ride. So I'm talking about my second ride. So the first ride went well. So I noticed I'd knocked off something like 10-15 minutes off my ride, which was quite a lot. My ride's about an hour and a half or so. So that's showing off the capabilities a bit of the new bike, although maybe it's more reflective of how antiquated my old bike was. Because I imagine if I actually this new bike is new used bike. I looked it up. I don't know I wasn't able to find out the year. I wrote to the company. I found the serial number, so I wrote to the company to see if they can tell me exactly what it is. But I can tell it is. Yes, I know the model. It's an entry. They consider it an entry-level bike. So I thought that was funny because it's way better than what I had. And yeah, it's a $500 bike normally, roughly. And pains me a little bit to think that that's an entry-level bike now. And yeah, mid-range is a couple thousand. They don't want to call it a mountain bike, even though it really is, because it has basically the flat handlebars, and it has the front suspension, and it has the gearing options, including the granny gear. So it's definitely a mountain bike. It's not a road bike, so it doesn't have the narrow handlebars. And it has really big fat tires. This bike has really big fat tires, so definitely a mountain bike. Not the uber fat tires, but I think it's 27.5 inches, which is a pretty big tire. It's I think 2.1 inches wide, so it's not a fat tire, which I think is like close to 3 inches or something like that. But it's a pretty big tire, so definitely not what I call a road bike. But yeah, the manufacturer doesn't really want to call it a road bike. They call it kind of an all-around bike. So good for urban riding and some light trails, which is essentially what I do. So it's actually kind of perfect for me. Because basically I ride the streets to get to the park, and then it's light trails there. So it's kind of exactly what I want, except would like more granny gears. But yeah, reading about it, it looks like the downside to the entry-level bike is, yeah, it's not going to be great for upgrading. So basically, if I want to give it the things I really want, I can't really upgrade it to that. So that's where I basically have to fork out for a $2,000 bike or something, or more. And so that's much further down the line. But for now, yeah, this is a big step up from what I had before. And so on my second ride, I finally went back to the exposed mountainside with the really steep climbs. I didn't do all of them, but I did two of the primary ones. I haven't done them since before the park closed because of all the storms that we had. So they actually closed that entire section off for quite a while. It reopened probably a few months back. But the other problem with it is, yeah, it's always been a challenge for me on my old bike. It's such a challenge that if I'm not in really peak shape, even when I'm in peak shape, it's a real struggle. And when I'm not in peak shape, last time I went, I thought my heart or chest was going to explode. So I'm not in peak shape right now. So I tried it out on the new bike, and yeah, I was using the granny gear. So I made it all the way to the top, and I did I did like an extension. So there's like an overlook. I've talked about this before, but yeah, there's kind of an overlook. It's kind of a one-way, so you go up and then you have to come back. But it's pretty steep, pretty challenging climb. Nice view at the top. It's exposed mountainside, so there's no shade whatsoever. Usually I have to rest a couple times on the switchbacks, like at every transition. So this time I actually went all the way up without having to stop and rest. So that was a pretty drastic difference right there. Although the one downside I'd say is, yeah, I was still pretty exhausted climbing. So it was still quite a challenge. I was hoping that I'd have a big enough granny gear where it would not really be that much of a challenge. It would just be a really slow climb. But yeah, it was a challenge. So I'd like to get a bike where, yeah, I can just grind away without having to be struggling, because I want to do longer, steeper climbs, because yeah, there are still harder climbs beyond that. So, and I'd like to do those more often. So with this new bike, I should be able to at least, you know, do this one more often, because yeah, the difficulty has been a deterrent for me, and it's been hard to get back into it. So I'm hoping, yeah, I'll start getting more into it now that I have a more capable bike. I'm still learning, yeah, the gearing. So, but for this climb, yeah, pretty much it was on, you know, granny gear the whole time, so I didn't have to worry about fine-tuning the gears much. Though there were a couple places where I wouldn't mind having a just slightly lower gear or higher gear, because yeah, the problem with this bike and this particular gearing that it has, it's kind of all or nothing. So you're kind of just incrementally changing gears, and then when you need that granny gear, it's suddenly a big giant leap, and there's nothing in between. Okay, I think it's food time here. Too close to the chair, Scruffy. It's trying to brush you there. My brush handle hits the chair. Okay, I'm done. So, trying to remember what happened at lunch. I think Scruffy left with some food left over, so I put it on the plate, and then, oh yeah, so he waited for me to come in. So he actually came back on the site, I think, but he wouldn't approach until I actually started closing the door. Hey, Scruffy. Charged over. Didn't expect that. I mean, you're hungry? We went inside. That's unusual. Have a nice day. Sun's out. Should be a little warmer than yesterday. And guarding the door like that, huh? Yeah. So you got your water and kibble. So start warming up a little tomorrow, I think. Probably like it more. I think the weather's fine as it is. So did you want your food? You're just like sitting there. Yeah. So now if I try to get up, you'll probably hiss at me. Okay, there we go. Oh, the red plate came off. Is that you, or is that the wind? Or did some animal come by? Plate back. Get the water down. Get the glove on. Scruffy's looking at the plate. Looks like he wants his food. He's not avoiding the head today. So, I mean, you want your food now? Yeah. You want pets? Well, you never want pets. Give me another minute. Then I'll give you your food. Trying to socialize you and not make you more antisocial. Okay, let's get your food. Tonight's dinner is meaty pate with real chicken and tuna, kibble, and rotisserie chicken scraps. So also my trip, oh yeah, so let's talk about the deer I came across the other day. So there was a family of deer, one mother and 2 children, and yeah, they were fairly brave. Yeah, they just kind of stayed on the path till the last moment. I was moving very slowly towards them. So I'm surprised at how brave they were. Later on that trip, I actually saw another deer all by himself, and I was coming down the main road, leaving the park, so it's downhill. And I mentioned that my new bike really seems to pick up more speed on kind of gently downsloping paths, whereas before my old bike, it was just like there's so much friction. It was like just it could be on flat ground. So I was actually getting pretty good speed, and the deer saw me. He was in the brush, and he decided very quickly that he wanted to be on the other side of the road. So he, full speed, jumped from the brush on one side of the road, crossed the road, and then went up the hill on the other side before I got there. And then I saw him climb up pretty high up. So deer were out that day. And then, I saw a big giant black tarantula on the edge of a trail. And it was trying to, I think, get off the trail and just get further into the mountainside. And so I was watching it for a while, and I've seen enough videos on YouTube with people free-handling tarantulas. I was very tempted to give it a try. I've never done it myself, except I think maybe once, like at one of those what do you call them? There's live museums where they have different live animals and cages, or like aquariums, and some of them they let the people handle every now and then. So I think maybe I've handled a tarantula there once before. Actually, no, I don't think I handled it. I think I was able to pet it, but I didn't actually handle it. I was very tempted. I had gloves on too, so I would have had a little bit of protection. But nah, I left it alone. And then, on the way home, I saw one of the neighborhoods I was cutting through. There were 2 cats on the edge of on the curb on the street, and they were both facing towards a house. So there's a gray cat and a black cat, and they were just sitting there on the edge of the street next to the curb, staring intently at this one particular house, and it's very, very odd looking. It really stood out. So I was thinking maybe they were expecting somebody to come out with food or something. So didn't see any bobcats today, or that day, and I didn't see any snakes. But yeah, deer, tarantulas, and those cats. Scruffy almost ate all the food. So 2 pieces of kibble and smear of pate. So leave that on the plate for him. Is he going to go back and eat it? I don't think he is. Nope. Okay, looks like Scruffy's leaving, though I know he's going to circle back once I'm inside. He'll come back for that remaining bits of food. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.